Right, let's finally talk gear. I'm gonna go through my setup. It's a hybrid setup. I blend plugins and hardware to achieve what I want. I walk you through it and let me know in the comments if you have any further questions or something you would like me to elaborate. And all right, let's go. All right, I'll walk you through what's in front of me. Speakers. There are active speakers. It's Focal Solo 6BE. I've used them for a long, long time. This is actually my second pair. I think I bought the first ones 15 years ago or something. I like them a lot, but what is more important is that I know how they sound. I'm familiar with the sound. I know how they translate in other areas, through headphones, in your car, in a home stereo. I am very familiar with them, the sound of it. And that's actually my philosophy regarding speakers, that I would say you can get the work done in basically all with all speakers. Obviously not super crappy ones, but some sort of mid-priced speakers will do the job. And the important thing is that you know how they translate into other environments. I mean, the car, for example, being the most crappiest environment to listen to music, you're not even centered in the left, right, and new cars, they have speakers all over the car, and obviously you have the sounds from tires and engine, and I mean, it's a crappy place to get a good sound, but it's relevant because a lot of people, including me, listen to a lot of music in the car. And then it's also good to have a second pair of tools like headphones. I have a pair of very flat, boring, flat headphones from Neumann. I think they're really cool. They're not these sort of happy headphones. Everything sounds amazing in them. There are other brands for that, for sort of end consumer, that everything just sounds super fancy. But these are, what's the word? Non-forgiving headphones. I mean, if it sounds bad in these, it will sound bad everywhere. So I usually use these combined with the Focals, to set the levels and how the vocals should pop out in a mix, and all those basic levels, and also for the frequency range. Those are excellent because they have a better low end than my previous headphones. I used Sennheiser HD600 for years. They're good, nothing wrong with them, but these are better in my opinion, and better meaning more flat. So I use them a lot, and also, as I said, the crappy environments and the end consumer environment is important. Believe it or not, I listen to a lot with the standard Apple earpods, the wired ones. It's basically because you need to know your consumer. These are very exaggerated in the low end, and they make things sound a bit better than they are, and they just need to translate well in these as well. So speakers, a set of headphones, compare different environments, know your speakers, know what your room does to the speaker as well. I know my speakers are they could have been like half meter out from the back wall. They're very close, a bit too close to it, but I know what it does to the audio. It emphasizes a bit the low end part, but I'm also aware of when I mix and master. So know your gear, know how they translate. That's my best feedback to you. Don't mind about the brands and stuff like that, because if you hang on gear space and stuff like that, everybody will of course justify their expensive purchase, but know your speakers. And just for information, I have been looking into another brand of speakers. I was pretty impressed at Studio Fredman, they use Neumann speakers there. And as I said, very flat, very transparent, and I like them a lot. And that's basically why I got the headphones, because all of the reviews and feedback said that it's basically like putting Neumann speakers on your ears, and I agree. I got the sound, the transparency, the flatness of it, and it's great. I might look into Neumann speakers later on, but you know how it is. You're always in a project in the middle of it, and you just don't want to try to fix anything that isn't broken. So, but let's see in the future. So that's the speakers. Sorry. I used to have an iMac for many years. I liked it a lot. Retina screen. It's really pleasant for the eyes. It doesn't, wear them out, staring at the screen for hours. But it was getting closer to its end. Computers, phones. I mean, they have a life length of 5-6 years, and then you start to get problems with updates and upgrades and stuff like that, and they're not compatible with this and that. And it's like in the phone world. I mean, some apps stop working, and in the audio world there can be conflicts with plugins, and you really need those plugins to work. So I was getting a bit freaked out that it's just a matter of time when everything's gonna crash and stop working. So I have a good friend that is this sort of Obi-Wan Kenobi type guy. He knows everything about tech, and he's a really cool guy. I just ask him, what do I need? And he tells me, well, you need a Mac Studio, and you need this and adapter and this and that. And I just get it, because I know it's gonna be the shit. So the Mac Studio is an awesome computer. I got the M1 version. It's plenty of juice in it, I can promise you. I really try to push it hard with, shitloads of plugins, and it just does the job very well. So I'm pretty sure I can use it for like 5-6 years. But the downside was that you can't connect the iMac screen or iMac computer to Mac Studio. So I had to get another screen. And I got an older Apple Thunderbolt display. It's not Retina, but I think it's awesome. I've been sitting with it for a few months, long sessions, and my eyes don't get tired, and so I think it's really cool. And those are pretty cheap. Second-hand market today, you can get it for like, $150, $200 or something like that, and I think it's awesome. Also 27-inch, and I think it's great. So that's the front of me. If I go down, I have 32 channels of control surface from Icon QCon. It's called Icon QCon Pro X, and 32 faders. Why? It has nothing to do with sound. Obviously, they don't do shit to the sound. It's just a remote control to faders, running faders and panning and stuff like that in Pro Tools. And it's just because I'm so used to it. I like mixing with my ears, meaning that I move faders where I feel this is it, this is the sweet spot. I'm happy with it, because if I compare that to like the actual numbers on the in Pro Tools, like, oh shit, that is actually 0.4 dB over the other guitar or something, whatever. But seriously, it doesn't matter. But when you start looking at 0 point something, you think that it makes the big difference. But no. It doesn't matter in the end. Trust your ears. I move the faders, pan it, whatever's needed. Mostly I start with drums and bass, and I just, move the faders to my front area, work with them, move the faders, next part, and I like the oversight of it. That's I chose this one because it has the meter bridge. I like to see where the audio is, and I can easily see what is muted, soloed, and it also has that flying fader thing. It's a cool bro thing, automate something and you see faders just flying. That's a cool thing. But yeah, for me, for my workflow, it makes sense. And also this centerpiece here is the SSL, another control surface. This is to control the SSL plugins, the EQ and compressor. Same here, I like the oversight. I just swap between channels, I see exactly how it is, I see the VU meter moving, and it just makes me feel a bit comfortable. That's the way I just like to work. And there are a lot of buttons and stuff on the icon. I don't use many of them. Basically, I just set playback on loop, simple stuff like that. I switch between edit and mix view. Remove the transport, add the transport. Very, very basic stuff. Because there are these control surfaces out there that you can control plugins, and you can control plugins with this one as well. But seriously, it just takes too long time, and the workflow doesn't make sense. Because I need to activate the plugin, and all of a sudden 8 of your panning knobs will become the EQ. And it just doesn't make sense. It's much easier to do it with a mouse, or the SSL response with the remote control here. And if you go through the table here on the left, another remote. I like those. As I said, I like knobs. This is for controlling a delay. I like to punch in the digits. It's how I used to work, and I like it. And here's the SSL one, color-coded keypad without the numpad. This is basically just a condom you put on there. Magic mouse, and this is the numpad. And the only purpose for this is to punch in memory locations. That's the only thing I use it for. I listen to a take or record a take, I can punch in and make notes, because I can't do it in this smaller keypad. And then another gadget, this is to control the reverb from the TC Electronics. I like this reverb, very good for if there are no room mics in the project. I use this to add some room and maybe some extra snare, reverb and stuff like that. I think it's really cool. I usually end up using this one, or I think it's Slate Digital's one, lustrous plates. I like the plates. Those are really good. I always manage to tweak in a good reverb, a good room sound, or a exaggerated plate reverb on a snare or something like that. They always do the trick. And that's it. That's what I have in front of me. I use Pro Tools. I used to work with Cubase a lot for many years, and Cubase is great. I messed a bit with Logic, Reaper, Luna. I tried out, there was something I liked. Harrison has this, I think it's called Harrison Console 32 or something like that. And that's a very different type of DAW. It's you basically have a visual of the console, the mixer board, and then you have the edit views and stuff. But I really like that one, and I did some easy, simple, demo recordings and just trying it out. And I like how it is set up, the buses, and you send it. It's like a real console. And I told myself like 3 years ago, like, when you have the time, check it again, because I really like it. And there are some things in that DAW that actually adds character and sound. I mean, if you are strict on, Cubase, Pro Tools, I mean, it's all about digital ones and zeros, and I would say there's not a sound in a DAW if it's not, a specific like this Harrison one, or you have the Luna and you activate APIs on every channel. That's a different thing. But if you record digitally, the sound isn't in the DAW. It's somewhere else. All right, that's what's in front of me. Let's look at the rack. All right, the rack from the top. the interface, the audio interface. RME Fireface 802, rack modeled. I have had other interfaces as well. I started out with the M-Box, the old Digit Design before, the Pro Tools, now it's called Avid. It was called Digit Design, and you needed to have Pro Tools hardware to run Pro Tools software. So I got that M-Box. I still have it actually. I'm not sure it works. I don't think so. But yeah, so I started out basically with that, and I had some other pretty crappy ones just because I knew I was only using for like home use, you know, doing demos and stuff. But later on, when I sort of got back into audio and I wanted to start mixing and mastering, I bought an UAD Apollo Twin Mark II. I used it for a few years and I liked it a lot. Since I wasn't considering using hardware at all, so that's all I needed, 2 channels in and out and, you know, headphone output, that's it. And UADs are pretty cool, you know, if you're familiar with their plugins and the what they call it, virtual mic pre's and stuff like that. So it's quite a cool thing. But I liked it until it broke down because I was panicking and I called my Obi-Wan Kenobi friend and said, you need to help me. And he said, yeah, borrow my RME UFX. I plugged it in and it was honestly to remove, like remove a blanket from the speakers. The digital to audio analog conversion was so much better. It was quite the experience. I was surprised that it was, I mean, the Apollo one is not cheap either, but the conversion was obviously better. So I, you know, finished my project and I got this RME Babyface. I was still focusing just on 2 channels, so I did a lot of projects with the Babyface, and it's awesome. I noticed that the conversion level is up there with the other units like UFX. It's really great. I mean, RME's lowest level is freaking higher than all the UADs and Focusrites and all of that. It's just, the clarity is so much better. And just a note here, I am not endorsed by anyone, so I'm just telling you my opinion here, and yeah, I'm not endorsed at all. So the RME Babyface I used for many years, and then I started to feel the itch that I wanted to blend in hardware, because I used to work in a studio. They had some hardware that I really loved. I was missing them, and once again I asked my Obi-Wan friend, and he said that yeah, the cheapest best RME for shitloads of inputs outputs is the 802 version. So I got it and never looked back. It's awesome. I think it's really great. It's is it 32 inputs and outputs, and we have 4 mic pre's and the AES and yeah, double headphone outputs. It's just a great piece of gear. And there is a newer version. They add the FS into it, 802 FS, and that's if you have the need to work with very high sample rates, like 192. I never do that. For me, it's completely overkill. I stick to 44.1 or 48. That's plenty of sample rate happening there. But if you want the higher level, you need to look into the FS version of the 802. So, how have I connected the hardware? I didn't want to go patch bay. Patch bay is, I don't know, a bit obsolete nowadays when you have the possibility with so many inputs, outputs. So I got one of these bad boys. This is an SSL, X-Logic, let me see what's it called, Alpha Link. It's also actually an audio interface itself, but I'd use it as standalone. I use it for the ADAT conversion, the light pipe. So it has 3 ins and outs for ADAT. So it's 24 channels in and out. So that one is connected to all the hardware. Some of the stuff I've connected to the RME's line ins and out. But when those are used, I go over to the SSL one. And yeah, a lot of inputs, outputs, so I can connect shitloads of gear if I want. And since they are pre-routed to inputs, outputs, I can just add them in Pro Tools like any other insert. I don't need to do anything connecting stuff. I can just add them as an insert. I can move them around. Sometimes it's a difference between, you know, EQ before or after a compressor or stuff like that. So those stuff and using it like that, it's very, very handy. And yeah, I treat them like inserts, standard inserts. And if we look at the rack, below the interface, I have this 500 series rack. It's pretty cool. Module built, you know, you just yeah, insert whatever modules you want, and it's a cool thing because they have focused a lot of you know, a lot of classic gear like API, Neves, and SSL. They all joined forces and joined this, I think it's called Viper Alliance, to do 500 modules of their most popular gear. And later on, a lot of brands jumped on that one as well. But it's pretty cool because the modules are cheaper and it's flexible. I mean, I bought and sold a lot of these and just trying them out. And I mean, if you buy and sell from the audio world, you know, secondhand, you always get a good price, and you don't lose that much money of it. So you can try out different modules in a pretty easier way. So so basically, the hardware I've chosen is based on a lot of the plugins I've enjoyed. If we start with the first one, the SSL, the ultraviolet EQ. But the thing is that for SSL and API, they have during the years licensed their products to a lot of manufacturers. You know, like Waves, UAD, Brainworks, stuff like that. And I'm like you, I've tried them all with trial versions, and when it comes to SSL, I've tried them all, and I always thought that, yeah, sounds pretty good, but nothing like, shit, this is the creme de la creme, the holy grail thing, until SSL themselves took sort of charge of their own product and they created their own plugins. They released the Channel Strip 2, which is this one based on a very famous console, and the bus compressor, the one, the super gluer, the very classic bus compressor. When they released those and I tried them out, that was the first time I understood the SSL sound. The smooth end, the very nice low end. I mean, that's the first time I sort of oh shit, this is the SSL sound. So I really wanted to try out the hardware as well. And yeah, I got the SSL hardware, 500 slot ultraviolet. Does it sound good? Is it better than software? It's up to you. I think it is. Because I believe shit happens in circuitries when you start to push inputs and outputs, and you make circuitry work. It's not all about mathematics and algorithms and zeros and ones. It becomes something else, a bit of voodoo, and that's what I like. Is it worth the money to upgrade to hardware? It's up to you. If you can't hear a difference, stick with plugins. Simple as that. So that's basically why I'm combining hardware and software. I love a lot of plugins, especially this SSL one. After they started with the Channel Strip 2, they have later on released more plugins based on their other consoles as well. I've tried them out a bit, all of them, But usually I start out with the classic one. If it doesn't do the trick, then I look into the other ones. But usually it always does the trick. It does what I need it to do, EQ-wise. I usually use them to boost stuff. For cutting, like low mids around 250 or 500, I can go with Pro Tools' own EQ for that. It's mostly the boosting thing I leave to the good stuff, where I actually hear a difference in various plugins. So yeah, and then we go to the API compressor. API is a VCA compressor. There are a lot of different techniques when it comes to compressor. VCA, FET, Opto, what else? Yeah, there are different techniques how to handle the transients, and I mean they have a different sound to it because some of them are a bit faster to react on transients, and yeah, they do have their own sort of mojo to it. VCA ones are a bit transparent, they say, not always in my opinion. But the API one, this is the 500 version of the classic 2500 racked version that I wanted to have for 20 years, but it's super expensive. And same thing there. I've tried a lot of plugins, and yeah, I get it. It has the smack and snap and what you want. If you want that, use that on, rock drums or even the master bass as well. I get it. So I got a good price on the 500 slot, and I went with it, and I like it a lot. It's pretty unique in a way. It also has this thrust circuitry in there to add a bit of extra mojo there as well. So I like it. It's a good tool. Then we have something maybe you're not familiar with. It's a brand called HRK. It's a Polish brand run by a guy called Bart. I'm not really sure, you may fact check this, but I think he has worked for Neve. I might be wrong, but yeah, whatever. This is another technique of compressors. It's a diode bridge compressor. It handles the peaks and transients in a different way. I'm not gonna even go into exactly how it works. I know like VCA handles based on the voltage peaks, but diode bridge, it does something. It's an old Neve invention, already from the 70s, I believe. And this is based on one of those diode bridge compressors. And I love it. To be honest, it's my favorite. Because here's a compressor that has attitude, mojo, voodoo. It does a lot to the sound if you want it to, create that mojo. What I like with it, I use it a lot on the main bass. It adds a really solid thickness. You can squeeze it quite hard, and have a slow attack, pretty fast release, and you squeeze it, and it just thickens up the low end in a very, very beautiful way. I like it a lot. I think it's awesome. And if we continue, next up is the SPL Big. It's a stereo imager widener. There's a shitload of those plugins, and I'm pretty sure you have tried them out. And I'm not gonna go into the technology of this one, but it does it in a bit different way. I think it's awesome. The only purpose I've sort of figured out for it is in the main bass. It doesn't do the mojo thing if I add it to like a stereo guitar bass or vocal bass or something like that. But for the main bass, it's really cool. You can choose the frequencies, what to pan, and there's something there happening in the MS processing that it does a bit differently. And I don't know, it does the work. But you need to be very careful with it because, I mean, the full range from, let's say, 0 to 10, if you already go beyond 3 or something, it starts to sound a bit funky. You need to start mono-checking that, what the hell am I hearing here? So yeah, you need to be very careful with it, but I like it a lot. It's really cool, a very good widener. Then another HRK product, that's a tape emulator simulator. And I bought it simply after hearing some, YouTube clips and reading reviews, and I love the HRK dial bridge compressor. So I was thinking like, shit, what if all his products are this good? So I got the tape emulator, and it's really awesome. It is. I've seen some comparisons and tests with the other tape emulators, like the Neve ones, and I'm not sure if this is based on the Neve one. I'm not sure, but it sounds great. If you're not used to the tape sound, don't even start messing with it, because if you're used to it, you know what you want. You know what I mean? And it's not. I don't use it on all projects. It's mostly more useful, I think, when it's about the tempo and the sort of pump in the music. If it's more like mid-paced thing, then I like to work with the tape saturator a bit. And there's also these blend functions, so you don't need to go full on ape shit, to get that tape saturation thing. You can do it very subtle as well. I like it a lot, and it's usually at the end of my chain. Mostly and the very, very end of the chain after the limiters and everything. So another cool thing. Below there is a multi-band compressor from Drummer. This was also a purchase because Softube does a really good multi-band 1973 plugin. I was blown away by it. I used it a lot on drums, and when you want that punch, and it's a really cool tool. And also one of those reasons, like, okay, how does a hardware sound compare to the plugin? In my opinion, is it better? It is. Is it much better? Everything is relative. Is it worth the money? For me, I think it was worth to try out the hardware version. And the cool thing, this is also a different type of compressor. It's a FET compressor, so it's a different technology. So I mean, I have the VCA, I have two VCAs, one diode bridge and one FET compressor, and it's just to have a bit of a wider palette on the compressors. And I use this multiband quite a lot. It's great, and what is great with it is it's a multiband. Like in the recent project I mastered, I just used the low frequencies. I bypassed everything else, just focused on the low part, because there was this very two dynamic bass frequencies happening there. So I used the low end up till maybe 150 hertz, and squeezed it a bit, tamed it, raised the volume. Then you can actually raise the low end a bit more, because you don't have the peaks coming from the bass instrument or the bass frequencies. So very solid tool. Then there is an old exciter rack. It's actually not even connected anymore. I found other better solutions for it. Softube does very nice exciters as well. I used it a bit sometimes on toms. It has a bit of harmonics, it brings out the attack in the sound, but there's better tools, software tools, I would say, today to use it for. It was a big thing, the exciters in the 80s, maybe even in the 70s. I read somewhere that back then, because it was quite difficult to get a nice high end in the audio way back there, so you could rent one of these exciters for shitloads of money for 1 week when you were doing the mix downs, to add this little extra harmonic mojo thing to it. But yeah, now you can easily try out different plugins for it. I recommend the Softube one, the Waze ones. It's pretty neat. Below there is another VCA compressor, the legendary SSL stereo compressor. This is actually a replica built by a friend. It's a bit modified. He added an extra OP amp to it. I don't know exactly what it does, but to be honest, I've compared it to original ones and the plugins, and this one sounds the best. What I think it does in the end, it adds some sort of harmonic subtle distortion or something to it, because it just glues everything together and it adds something I can't get from another compressor or plugin. It's my magic mojo gizmo, and this is the reason why I wanted to start messing with hardware. This was the compressor I was missing, because he built several of these, and this exactly the same compressor was in the other studio where I used to work. I love it. Yeah, that's the rack, that's the setup. This is my workspace. I'm gonna give you a little short tour in my control room here, and I'm gonna discuss some non-audio super important part, because I'm guessing that many of you are the typical bro that just buys equipment and ignores everything else, from important part like a cozy couch, a nice carpet, and design, lighting, stuff like that. I'm gonna tell you a few words about it. All right, let's have a look at the studio, the control room. Just a few words about the design and stuff. I learned this from a good friend that knows everything about, you know, acoustic treatment and stuff like that. He told me that if you don't have a big enough room, don't bother trying to achieve a perfect sounding room, because you need space, because you will need to add a lot of diffusers, absorbers and stuff like that into a room. So pay attention, do the best you can to get the best sound in your holy triangle, because this is where you sit and do the job, do the work. Make sure you have the best sound here, because back there on the couch, it will sound different. Do you want to spend a lot of money to get the perfect listening in the back seat there? No, don't do that. There are other ways. I've connected some headphones back there, they can listen to it, and of course it doesn't sound terrible back there, but it's not like you will make a decision of supercritical low-end bass thing by sitting on the couch. No, you will sit here in your holy triangle making those decisions. So put the money to your sweet spot. Meaning the wall behind you, wall behind the speakers, pay some attention to it if you can. What we did, and this is the thing about the bro thing I mentioned, I don't know shit about design and vibe and things like that. I know quite a lot about gear. So I asked for help of my wife, because she has a really good eye for details, and she had a lot of cool ideas that I would have never thought about. Because let's face it, it's not in our DNA to focus on ambience and lighting and colors and stuff like that. But when you have that right environment, you are thankful for it, because it creates such a cool atmosphere where you're gonna sit and create and work and stuff like that. So we went with, the walls are acoustic panels, basically almost around the room, in this smoked oaked wood. And we also decided to, you know, if we're gonna put some class on the walls, you don't wanna, you know, cheap out on the ceiling and floor trims and power sockets and switches and stuff like that. So we painted the trims on ceiling and floor black, went with black switches and outlets, and you know, that little detail thing. It's really nice to be in here, and especially when we started adding LED lights, you know, spotlights and stuff like that. And one thing about the audio and room, again, because usually you struggle a lot with the bass frequencies, and if you really want to absorb bass frequencies, you need something with high density, some mass you put in on the correct places to absorb the bass frequencies. One thing what I have been thinking about, what I could do is that because I have an alcove up there, and because the absorber doesn't need to be on the floor level. So I was thinking that someday I might fill that alcove, it's hollow now at the moment, with some high density material to absorb some lows. Because otherwise I think the room sound is pretty cool. It's optimal in my sweet spot, as I said, and it's okay back there. It's okay everywhere else in the room. So that would be a nice, not say compromise, but a way to enhance the sound in the room. So yeah, this is the control room. As I said, don't be afraid to think about the details, the ambience, the lighting, the feel, the vibe, the everything on bro thing. Because we all know that you wouldn't hesitate to buy a $100 cable, but you would hesitate to buy a new couch or carpet, or select proper paint on the walls and stuff like that. So do not leave that part out. So all right, that's my studio. But the most important thing in the studio, I don't make the rules, you need a lava lamp. That's just how it goes. All right, I hope you enjoyed this little babble. Take care.